Hi, my name is Mary Beth Barrett.
My name is Peggy Owen Sands.
I'm Nina Regan.
Frank Sadowski.
Fran Carlson.
Fred Brunig.
My name is Beth Ann Mayer.
Welcome to the Wyndham Vermont Interfaith Action Group.
I'm a leader with VIA's Racial Justice Economic Opportunities LOC here in Burlington.
I sit on the Affordable Housing and Homelessness Organizing Committee, and I've also been working on the Proposal 2 campaign to abolish slavery, no exceptions.
I'm part of the Corrections Reform Local Organizing Ministry of Vermont Interfaith Action.
And I'm a member of the Public Safety LOC.
I am a deacon in the Episcopal churches in Barre and Montpelier and have been actively participating in the LOC on affordable housing and homelessness for the last 8 years.
Over the past year, we've been researching the conditions at the women's prison in Chittenden County, CRCF, and the plan to build a new one.
We're still not done with the pandemic of racial injustice. And a lot of the work we've been doing is trying to address that.
Last year, we had two things happen. One was that there was a spate of swastikas being inscribed on stop signs. And the second was an individual who put up anti-Semitic signs across from Leland and Gray High School. We had some conversations, and along with Mike Malricki, we had a public forum about how these incidents affect us and the types of actions we can take. It was very well attended, mostly by Jewish members of the community.
We've done extensive research with the business community, with legislators. We've attended the Social Equity Caucus meetings. We've talked with leaders of BIPOC organizations. We've talked a number of times with the State Office of Racial Equity. We've really learned a lot.
We completed our research this year to better understand the issues surrounding policing and people of color in our state. The research culminated in a report as well as a guide to community engagement with local police departments. Both were really well received by the media and our partners.
We created a guide for the public to interact with their public safety group, whether that's police or sheriff in their local area, in hopes of creating more public oversight of the police in their area.
It is very, very important that we build a new prison for the women. The current one is completely inadequate.
Looking at the Declaration of Inclusion now, I think we're going to go to the source. Al and Bob and Norm Cohen in the Rutland area actually started this project.
We've been doing this now for about 2 years, and just so vitally important is the Vermont Interfaith Action. I quite honestly was not aware of VIA. I'm not sure that Bob and Norman were, but we became quickly aware of you because you made yourself just so very prominent in this whole initiative. You have done what is really a model, I think, for getting this done throughout the state. We referred to you guys as local champions.
Our work over the last year has been very actively involved in advocacy, testifying, and media coverage. But with all that, the most significant thing for me, the thing that has fed my passion for this work, was an opportunity to accompany 4 women who are living in hotel housing up to the legislature to testify before joint committees of the legislature. The women were terrified. This was definitely not comfortable territory for them. And we formed a relationship in the intensity of that day that continued to bloom over the last year. And for me, that has been the gift that this work has given me, is my relationship with the people in hotel housing.
Primarily, I'm looking forward to publicizing some of these initiatives that are moving forward. I think also we will be involved with legislation as we were last year. We hit some roadblocks, but hopefully this year we'll be able to see some of these bills that are impressive to us come to fruition. And finally, I think I harbor a hope that perhaps we can work with the BIPOC community and maybe a credit union or a bank to actually do some practical program that will provide greater access to economic opportunities.
I'm really excited about seeing how our guide is being used across Vermont to promote greater engagement between communities and their respective police departments. And I'm also really interested in exploring deeper partnerships with communities whom we serve so that we do the work together.
We're very excited to try to have an influence in how the specific plans on how to build this new women's prison. We will continue to advocate for the humane approach and gender-specific approach that we always have, but we will also advocate for a much smaller prison to be built for the new facility, and that the women's needs be met much more with community services.
What I'm most excited about for the coming year is to help expand the Declaration of Inclusion's reach across the state, and I'm excited about supporting initiatives in the State House. I think we can have a real positive impact in both areas.
We really look forward to taking our guide to other places in the state. Our rollout for this was in Chittenden County, and I think it was available online, but to take it physically to other places will be good in the state. And we also are going to follow up with the Vermont Criminal Justice Council's report on police training and bias incidents. And so we're continuing to try and understand what's happening around public safety and policing within the state of Vermont, and it's exciting work.
I have a deeper understanding, and I think all of us in the LOC do, that just as these issues are systemic, the problems are systemic, they involve business, they involve the state, they involve agencies, they involve legislation. So any fixes similarly have to be systemic and have to have a wraparound kind of character.
I sense that we all feel a greater appreciation for the complexity of the issues and a greater interest in working closely with people of different perspectives to find potential solutions. I've become increasingly interested in understanding differing perspectives and building bridges to address systemic issues that affect our most vulnerable citizens.
This past year, the most meaningful activities of our LOC for me have been the tracking and discussing of legislation related to racial justice. This is a really difficult area, and our discussions and the reports and the interviews we've done have been very informative, and I think there's potential for VIA to have real impact here.
I think our local organizing ministry group has changed in their attitude towards the Department of Corrections over the 6 years that we've been working for them. We have watched the culture of the Department of Corrections change much more towards considering a humane way of dealing with incarcerated women and using gender-specific ways to deal with all their problems. I also feel that our group has had an influence in helping the DOC come to those more humane outlooks.
We've had a lot of fun, and more importantly than that, I think we've done some good. You know, we're all in our 80s, and you look at your life and say, well, what did you get accomplished during your life? And yeah, Norm, Bob, and myself, we've all had, some successes in most of the aspects of our lives, but this may be the capstone.
I think we have grown in new friendships, which has been lovely to get to meet people I wouldn't otherwise know, and having a new way to think about public safety through gaining more information on the topic and meeting many people who are involved in public safety in a variety of ways, from police officers and chiefs to legislators. And I've also grown in leadership.
The more I talked about the campaign, the more comfortable I became imparting the information to others. And I feel it really helped me develop as an organizer. It increased my comfort level and engaging with people. I think that when one is knowledgeable and passionate about an issue, that really comes across to others and gets them engaged as well.
I can't speak for others, but for me, the work of the LOC has helped me see how deep and insidious the impacts of the past racial injustices have been. The work has deepened my commitment to the work of righting those wrongs.
It has changed my worldview. It has changed my sense of how we advocate and work towards systemic change. I urge you all to join us in this fight. There is a long way to go, as you know, but it is life-giving work.